Hi, everyone. Welcome. My name is Hannah McClure, and I am so thrilled to be the moderator for today's panel, which is going to be all about starting and scaling partner implementation. So we've already heard a little bit about partner implementations and some of the benefits that some of our colleagues at Audit Board and some of the other presenters this morning kind of teed up. So I think this is going to be a great session. So before we jump in even further, though, I just want to give a big thank you to Rocket Lane just for hosting this conference and creating this space for all of us PS nerds. It's just nice to, it's just nice to be able to have conversations with people that kind of we can vent about the same things, we understand each other, and it's just a great community. So just thank you again. I know I've taken a ton of notes. I pretty much have carpal tunnel. But yeah, so quick note about me. I'm a senior manager of our implementation and services team at LogicGate. If you aren't familiar with LogicGate, we help companies manage their governance, risk, and compliance, or GRC for short, processes through our Risk Cloud platform. For an industry that has a ton of regulations and rules and frameworks, you'd be surprised by the vastness of maturity levels of custom processes that we see across customers. So when it comes to professional services and onboarding, it really does take a special set of skills. And so I'm just very passionate about this work and especially bringing on partners. So over the last 4 years, I have helped lead our implementation team that really works with our customers to implement Risk Cloud. And a big focus of my role has been growing and enabling our partner ecosystem. So over the last 4 years, we have onboarded over 15 implementation partners in the US, Australia, Europe, the UK, and Ireland. Back in, I think it was August 21, we had our very first partner implementation. Since then, we've probably had partners implement over 250 applications for customers. And at this point, we're kind of at about 20% of our implementations do go through partners. So come a long way in 4 years and definitely learned a lot. But yeah, so when I first started LogicGate, we're in the very early stages of building out an implementation partner program. Didn't really know what I was doing, I'm not gonna lie. Didn't really have a lot of playbooks. Just learned a lot by trying it out. Figured a lot of things out along the way, made a lot of mistakes, maybe made a few enemies, I'm not sure. But looking back, it would have been great to hear from others who had already walked that path. There's not a lot out there in the world of partner implementations. There's a lot about selling through partners, technology partners, but when it comes to professional services, onboarding, and just customer success from a partner lens, trust me, I have done extensive research and there's not a lot. So you're all in a great place today, whether you are just starting to think about launching a partner program or looking for ways to scale what you've already started, or maybe you're just looking to get into a different ballroom, change of scenery. You're definitely in the right place, and I'm definitely excited to talk to our panelists. So during this session, we're going to talk about what makes a partner program successful, how to grow with quality and consistency, and then just how internal teams and partners can collaborate effectively. So that is enough for me at this point. I am so excited to be joined by two very seasoned leaders who bring perspectives from both the provider and the partner side of the equation. So we have Stephanie Rahman, Vice President of Professional Services at Clary, and Chris Darius, COO and co-founder of InCloud Integrators. So, Stephanie, would you mind kicking us off? Tell us a little bit about your role and how you have approached partner implementations at Clary.
Sure. So I'm Stephanie Rahman. I have been with Clary for about 3.5 years now. We are a revenue operations platform. I think a lot of you are our customers, so if you've got problems, my team leads are sitting right there. That's me. I have spent my entire career in professional services, and I wouldn't call myself a professional service nerd, but more of a professional services masochist, because I love bridging the gap between sales and the actual product, because they are never in the same place. I was with EY when I first started my career, and then worked over at C3 and built out a partner program there, and then I've come over to Clary, and I'm running services for them. We use partners across our ecosystem at Clary. We do it in 3 different ways. We have partners who are outsourcing that help us handle some of our very basic configuration in India. We have partners who are niche partners for change management and things for our big enterprise customers where we don't have the depth on our team. And we also work with the traditional GSIs who actually implement with us or on their own at customers where they can sell through our products.
And Chris, over to you. So tell me a little bit about your background and Cloud's journey to becoming an implementation partner for Rocket Lane.
Absolutely, my pleasure. I didn't know I was going to get a suntan this afternoon. It is so bright up here. My name is Chris Darius, co-founder of InCloud Integrators. Prior to co-founding InCloud, I too, like Brian, who spoke this morning, worked at Informatica for 2 decades, leading the global services team. Started when there were a dozen of us. Brian likes to say he was the first consultant. I'll have to say that I was one of 12. But grew that to 400 consultants and become a billion-dollar software company. Prior to that, I worked as a metadata management consultant working on mainframes at a company by the name of Platinum Technology, which was gobbled up by Computer Associates. I had already been talking to Informatica, and they're like, hey, we want to hire you. I'm like, great, CA just bought Platinum. It's going to go to shit in about 2 weeks. So was able to join Informatica and have a phenomenal career there. And I think the interesting thing for me is having been on both sides of the coin, working alongside both boutique firms and massive system integrators at Platinum, and then co-founding our own services organization where we have worked with about 700 different software companies, most of them small and medium-sized startups. Of course, some massive software companies that are publicly traded as well. But for the most part, a lot of these companies all have the same issues, same problems, whether it be with customer success, services management, partner enablement, getting dragged down with margin issues, as all of these services companies, as I'm sure all of you are dealing with as well. So we really strive to help every type of services organization, whether large or small, with a lot of these challenges that I think are consistent across the industry.
Awesome, thank you both. All right, so I will start out with a very simple but foundational question. Why work with partners in the first place? So I know at Logic8 for us, it wasn't just one reason. We had some international needs that we wanted to support. We don't have an international services team. We wanted to be able to scale up and down, our services delivery, and we also, like I said, we have a very complex industry, and there's a lot of really smart people that do this, and so we wanted to see what they had to offer and how we could partner together. So lots of different reasons. But Stephanie, maybe you can start. What are some of the benefits of a partner-led delivery model from your perspective?
There's a lot of benefits, and I think when you go back to why working with partners, a lot of you are going to get told by your CEO, you got to get me in Deloitte because they're going to bring us all this business. It's actually not true. So you got to think through the lens of what your CEO wants and how you can actually deliver and why you would use a partner. For us at Clary, it made sense. We're a tiny but mighty team. We are less than 5% of Clary's workforce, and we run on average between 70 to 100 implementations at any given time with a team of 32. We needed depth. We needed some places where we could cover, especially in our international business as well, because we just needed the time zone coverage. So it made sense for us to start looking at partners and start looking at places where we were not as deep. So I mentioned change management. I have a team of excellent technical consultants. One of the things that we do not excel in is really getting deep into why we need to have changes, and we didn't have the time to sit through and make every single enablement piece of material for a company as large as Informatica or HPE. So it really made sense to bring in someone who is an expert to layer on top of our technical team in that sense as well.
And Chris, from the partner side, what do you think makes companies want to lean into this model? And when you are evaluating a potential new partnership, how do you know if it's going to be the right fit?
Great question, by the way. I would say that the old idea of bringing partners in to work with you is exactly that. We need more business. We need these partners to help us sell, to expand our footprint, to enable our sales team to have more leads, et cetera. But from a partner's perspective, they're not necessarily going to generate more leads and business and inbound than you're already doing. Again, for the typical size business that we're seeing in this room. for large corporations with Deloitte and the large GSIs, of course, they have their stamp on every aspect of IT and applications.